All right, hello to the chicos and the chicas on stream. We are, and now we are, ladies and gentlemen, going to engage with a broad topic and a broad concept. In fact, I think I'm going to slice up this whole lecture series onto multiple little bits. And today we are going to kick off with attacking schemes in the Sicilian #1, in which we are going to focus on the bishop e2 Scheveningen setups. Now, I don't want this to be very opening specific, but I also want to burst that bubble of nonsense of, oh, you shouldn't study openings, yada yada yada. Yes, you should. It's a very important part of the game, and in fact, not the only, but the most effective way to study middle games is to study them through the opening, and I'm going to elaborate on that right away. So, in my teenage years, my main weapon against the Najdorf and against the Scheveningen was the bishop e2 variation. And so this was my go-to weapon for a long time. In fact, I made a very cute video about this earlier on, in which I talked about the fact that I had a handwritten notes, opening files of Sofia Polgar handed down to me by my coach, and that was my ultimate Bible where I learned it from. But anyway, the point is that I played this Scheveningen setup, which basically follows theory all the way to here. And this is where theory starts branching away. And this is precisely why when people tell you when you are about 1900, 2000 FIDE or whatever, that you shouldn't be bothering studying openings, that's utter bollocks, because your openings will lead to middle game scenarios like this, which then you can start analyzing and understanding the middle game setups that you get from your openings. So when people tell you, oh, you should be studying pawn structures, and well, I am. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm studying right now the Scheveningen pawn structure, in fact, a very important Sicilian pawn structure, whilst I'm also practicing my openings. And in fact, this is another reason why people telling you that don't study openings is utter bollocks on higher level, that is because almost all of your opening theory is going to lead into middle games. And so you're no longer studying your opening, you're studying your middle games. And when I use the word studying, by the way, I mean playing through and analyzing. And analyzing means that you set this up and you start playing moves for both sides to understand the strategies, right? And this is very important that we do that. And in fact, one goal that I would like to accomplish in this series is that we're trying to do as much as possible without the engine, although every now and then I'm going to break this rule of mine. So this is the starting point of theory. Bishop c6, and in fact bishop d3 here is inaccurate by me. I played this more than 20 years ago. I believe king h1 is the mainline theory here. And one thing that I learned the hard way, and later on we are going to reflect on this, and by doing so we are going to engage already with motifs that help us to understand the opening, is that the bishop is needed on e2 to cancel out a very annoying motif based on knight h5 and e5. And that's what that, I will show you what that looks like. So after bishop d3, which I believe is a mistake, I don't know the exact move order of how it's best played out, but usually black has a combination of e5 takes knight h5, which I don't think it may or may not work here. Yeah, actually I think it does, because if I take d6 takes e7 takes f1 is winning for black, yeah? Yeah? So I have to go either g4 or h3. And against either move, black has takes on e5. And this is a very unpleasant change in the position for white, because if I take h5, they take d4, I go knight d5, take, and after g6, black is better. There is no attack to speak of. The d5 pawn is a bit loose, so is d4, but bishop c5 always helps. But the main feature of the position is the fact that the d5 pawn is more or less useless, but black has got a beautiful majority, 3 versus 2, on the other side. Bishop d6, f5 is going to shut this bishop down. The dark squared bishop is beautiful, yada, yada, yada. So I think that my opponent, he missed the first basic cornerstone of this bishop e2 Scheveningen setup, And that is that as soon as the bishop abandons this diagonal, you must acknowledge the existence of the e5 threat. So one more time. Takes knight h5. Can we get creative here with white? I don't see how. Queen h3 takes e5. Bishop is hanging, and if I move the bishop back, then knight f4 is supremely annoying. And here comes another motive that you want to know, and that is that even if it comes at the cost of a pawn sack, usually this is a sensational trade for black. Because knight f4 take, and then bishop d6, and then let's say rook, I don't even know, back and here. I would take black any day of the week here. The two bishops, I mean, okay, actually, sorry, I missed that this was hanging, so that's not even playable. Maybe I should take with the queen, and then after bishop... Oh, now I can't go bishop d6. Because of e5, right? But even this looks to me like rock-solid compensation for black with the two bishops, the isolated pawn on e4, the weak dark squares. It just looks... In fact, I know what I would do. I would take this. Maybe bishop g5. I mean, I'm even threatening to do this among other things. Yeah, I would be surprised if this position wasn't... Actually, check bishop d4 looks great too. Okay, let's test evaluations. I reckon black is better here despite being a pawn down. I'm going to check what the engine says. Yep, tiny edge for black. Tiny. So our instinct was correct. Okay, back. So e5 is a problem, and there was a question in the chat about the nature of the position with the opposite colored bishops and this being a draw. And my very quick and very crude answer to that, forget that, buddy. Just because there are opposite colored bishops on the board, it doesn't deem the game to be a draw. As long as there are heavy pieces on the board, it's open game. And it is no more drawish than if you remove the bishops or replace them or whatever. So forget about, oh, opposite colored bishops is a draw. No, in fact, in middle game scenarios, opposite colored bishops actually tend to exaggerate the advantage of one side over the other. Because if you create threats on a certain color complex, your opponent's bishop is not going to be able to partake in the defense whatsoever. Okay, so I made a mistake here. As a rookie learner of the Scheveningen setup, I made a mistake here with bishop d3, which is, by the way, where we eventually want the bishop to be, but it needs to be very, very carefully prepared. So king h1 is theory here, I think. And then, of course, e4 is not hanging, and then black usually plays something like rook d8. And then there are more moves played to prepare either e5 or f5 or put the bishop on one of these two squares. Now, in the game, I played bishop d3, and my opponent played rook d8. I played queen h3. Now, I think we are good because we don't have this issue anymore. So let's analyze e5 now. What do you say, folks, we should do? And what will be the evaluation? I'm thinking two things. The aggressor in my head wants to jump on this like crazy by doing take and knight d5. And the idea is that whatever captures on d5 is going to allow me to use this tactic. But I feel like this idea is not going to work at all, because after rook takes f6, if black just simply plays g6, all white has is a dream and a rotten position. And in fact, I'm pretty sure that this idea can be countered in multiple ways. Another one being take. Yeah, same story. Take and g6, and black is completely killing it. So let's not do this. My instinct is to play bishop e3 and pull back. And now e5 is very committal. I don't think they have the time to blockade us on e5. So take knight d7 now loses to e5. And we managed to create a threat, and then after this e6 is absolutely terminal. So this is not playable. Immediate knight d7 looks very soft and passive. But I don't see an immediate refutation. Now my instinct would tell me to play f5. Because I want to disallow take knight e5. And knight e5 take. Actually, this could be very good. And if g6, then f5. Yeah, this looks like we are hurting, right? As in, we are hurting our opponent. This is looking very promising. Just to demonstrate against, but just to show you some cool ideas. Let's say pass, I go here. They go here, take. And if take, then mate. That is a really cool one. So let's say black plays knight, yeah. So the problem is that knight c5 is not playable because then we win a piece by f6. If the knight comes back to f6, bishop g5 is a good plan, but I don't know if I would go g5 or kick the rook first and then pull back. Maybe just bishop g5, queen h4. Because if they take again, we have f6 and mate. What about h6 instead of g6 is the question. Very valid question. There are two ways to respond to this. More than two. But it may be a far better move than g6. My first thought was queen f5, provoking g6 and then slide back. The problem is that after queen f5, knight f6, I don't know if I have a way to dislodge the knight. I don't think we can. Right? And if I play g4, g6, ouch. That's an ouchie. F5 is a way to go, but I was extremely reluctant to block in this bishop. It seems to make our position very one-dimensional, and that concerns me a bit. I get it that you want to take, but I find it difficult to believe that black would not have the tools to defend that. I was more inclined to, by the way, take this to open up both bishops, and if takes, then go to town on this. What says you guys? Okay, let's engage with this. Because this is looking like a mighty beautiful line. Knight d3, and I want to take g7. King g7, queen g4 check, king h7, rook e3 is not good because you get pinned. So rook f3 is the move. This is an insanely beautiful line. And this is, by the way, what you should be doing at home under the premise of analysis. Except, when you do this, you should not move the pieces. Try to calculate, for example, here, whether this is good or not. And definitely do not turn on the engine. In fact, do this on a 3D board. And then, yeah, good. So what I was looking at, by the way, here I'm pretty sure that a simple move like queen either here or here. Let's just go with g3. Should suffice for a win, right? Because after g6, even if I just retake, it wins. But I couldn't help but notice the beauty of this. Takes, mate threat, takes, check, king here. And now rook e3 is no bueno because of queen c5. Whereas rook f3, check. And now if I go here, then black wins. Or at least, yeah, black wins. Because, yeah, I have to take and then there's no mate. But After rook he check, I have king f1. Oh, rook to e3 was there, was it? Rook e3, you are correct. Actually, even king f1 is no good here because of knight f2. Maybe that's bollocks actually because of check here and then check, right? Yeah, that forces mate. So we have got multiple ways to win. Yeah, and I think that Jim is correct that rook to e3 also wins. Wow, that is beautiful. Okay, so one more time. If e5, opponent played 97 and that was losing on the spot. Back. And we tried here, ef, bishop takes. This story was deadly. So what did we try to do here again? After bishop e3. Yeah, it was 97. And then in h6. And then I decided to take this. With the idea of this. Take. And knight d3 was no bueno. How do we win if takes? Is that the classic takes, and queen f5 winning? See guys, all I needed to do was analyze 10 minutes of this. And I'm in love with chess, like full on. Like how amazing is this? And may not be good actually. Because I just realized that the mate can be parried by here when we have got mate here. But if you go check first, that opens up this. And so after king h1, f6, and we got defeated. Wow. Okay, let's go back again. So after takes h6, rook e5. Oh, wait. Oh no, I was going to go like check and then here, but even that doesn't do it. Plus check can be met by bishop g5. So I don't think rook e5 works. So how do we win this? If at all? Do we take? Well, I don't know if it's working at the moment. So queen takes, knight takes. Rook here again. This looks like it's terminal, right? Wait a tick. Unbelievable. And if knight e5, then rook e5. Yeah, because rook check is met by knight g6. That is just bonkers. And we have a mate. Wow, wow, wowee. Mr. Engau, how are we doing? Okay, so are we concluding, guys, that bishop takes h6 is winning here for black? White, excuse me. Because then just to check the validity of these ideas, I'm going to turn on the engine for a second to see if it's correct or not. After many blunders, yes, mate ensues. All right, tell me where the blunder was, so that we can correct ourselves. Knight d7, knight d5, take, h6, fe, knight d, bishop takes h6. Which move was the blunder? gh. Okay, what's the improvement? Because I don't see how black improves on this. Because any check is met by bishop takes. Knight d3 was proven wrong. And so you might call it a blunder, but if black doesn't have anything better, then black is lost anyway, right? Okay. So let's have a look at this variation now with the engine. So we looked at knight d7, which was a mistake, I thought. Knight d5 correct move. Bishop takes ed correct. Okay, we concluded g6 f5 to be a very brutal attack, but after bishop f6, black is by no means out. So this is an interesting addition, although white is better. Okay, let's see if h6 analysis was correct. Fe second best. Oops. Okay, we only looked at knight e, which does lose to bishop h6. So that was good by us, but de is the real issue. So what's the difference, guys? Why can't... Ah, because after take, there is queen b6 check. Oh boy. See, that's something that you need to do when you are analyzing. That if the engine doesn't show you the line, you want to work it out yourself. Alright, and now we understand the incredible depth of taking with a pawn instead of the knight. And that is that after take, there is check, trading queens, and we're done. This is exactly like we already got into so much trouble for keeping the king on g1 instead of king h1. Good observation. Yeah, so definitely there is no love here. Queen f5 though? Still knight f6 and we have no way to progress. Huh. That is cool. That is cool. Okay, so apparently knight d7 was a mistake here. And the best move is queen b7 and black is better. Okay. I find it a bit difficult to swallow that black is better here. I mean, if after queen b7, king h1, queen d7 is best, I outright refuse to believe the whole thing. That doesn't make sense. Okay, the key idea is to try to provoke f5 to counterpunch with d5. That does make sense to me. So what about if I dodge the trade? Ah, I don't have a good square. I don't have a good square before, because if I go here, knight h5, and queen f3 is exactly where we came from. So the only thing that I would like to understand now is that why does the engine throw in this instead of going to d7 right away? And the engine doesn't have any response to that. Okay, fair enough. So what did we do wrong? Was queen h3 wrong too? Yep. Knight e2. Now that I would not have thought of in a million years. And the reason for that is because my brain is wired to look at the knight d1 maneuver, because that's what I was told to do. With the idea of rerouting the knight to here. Albistrat, if you're telling me that this occurred from a Grand Prix, I'm going to cry for an hour after I've stopped recording. In a Grand Prix, you don't get to attack. Alright? That's the promise that they never deliver on. 91, 93 is the plan. The problem with this is that it also often falls into this idea with e5. But now bishop b6 wins. Why? Dude, like, isn't it screaming open Sicilian? I mean, come on, dude. Like, how could this possibly be anything but an open Sicilian? Like, if you get this from a Grand Prix, then hats off to you. Anyway, yeah, so 91 is no bueno either. Oh, actually, wait. We have queen h3. And if knight takes, then we have takes e5. And then knight e3. Holy cow, guys. Oh my god. I wish I hadn't turned on the engine for this. What I'm struggling to understand, even though the engine told us already that it's completely winning, that I don't see how it wins after takes. I get it that ef knight f5 is looking like $1 million, right? This is absolute genius work. Although even here f6 needs to be proven wrong, but I reckon there will be some e5 stuff down here. Like this looks like, yeah, black is not gonna survive this. But how do we win after ed4? I think I know the answer. I hope I do. I think after knight f5, there is just too much going on. And I'm threatening to do real dirty things to them. For example, bishop f6, I think, loses to the marvelous e5. And whatever takes on e5, I go check and mate. If they play g6, I thought that this was winning. With the idea of take, take, and then multiple mate threats. But maybe this holds. Huh. Okay, so how do we win this? Maybe check. King g7 and then here. And how do they defend f7? Rook h4. And if bishop takes, I don't see this, guys. Okay, rook h4, bishop takes. Queen takes to take f5. Queen g5, king here. f6, rook g8, queen h6. Rook g2, check. That's a royal mess. I don't think rook h4 is good. In particular because I don't see white's threat now. So if I just play f6... No, this is not it. No, I don't believe in rook h4. It might be that it's not even this. e5 also needs close examination. It may be just e5, g6, e6, guys. No, that can't be right. Huh. Oh, wait. You guys are telling me to play... Oh, hit right. Oh, God, sorry. You're right. That's complete carnage. How did I miss that? Yeah. Sure. Okay, so ed knight f5 here. Oh, sorry. If g6, then we have this. That is beautiful. And if bishop takes mate, otherwise mate on the back rank. I'll actually play it out for YouTube. That's the finish. Wow. So knight f5. Yeah, h6 loses to knight h6 for sure. That is not worthy of looking at. And then e5, rook g4, two deadly threats. And last but not least, what if bishop here? Oh, that's e5. Okay. Okay, let's turn on the engine to check if that was correct. Yep, okay, we missed bishop g5. By we, I mean I did. So e5. And then g6. Rook g4. e5, g6, rook g4, bishop d2, rook e2. Bishop c1. Okay, so rook d3 perhaps. Okay, I give up. What? What's the line here? e5, g6. Oh yeah, it's check. Okay, so rook d2, we just kick it, yeah? Oh! Exactly. Very well done, Jim. Who cares about the rook? That's not attacking chess. Rook h4. Well spoken, sir. I'm proud of you. I thought that this was an absolute garbage game, guys. And we are uncovering so much tactics. It's not even funny. Wow. That was insane. By the way, I have seen this 93 motif before. I don't think so. ED. Actually, according to the engine, e5, g6, and then knight f5 is the correct move order. But let's pretend that there is no difference. Yeah. Back is busted, man. This is just too many attackers versus one defender. Wow. For those, again, just to finally deliver the final dagger thrust to those who are crying, this is learning my opening, what you see now. Because I'm studying the motifs that occur in the middle games of my opening. Okay, so let's continue with the game because I would like to make some progress. I could analyze this forever, but I want to show you a little bit about how the games went and what logic was applied. I wonder how I can cover out the moves here, guys. Details, maybe? Yeah, that will do. Any idea about how White continued the attack here? This is an easy response and a very typical move. No, Jim, it would have taken the exact same amount of time pre-computer era, but we would have drawn far more bad conclusions or inaccurate. Nonetheless, and that's another thing that a lot of people don't understand, the relative value of conducting that analysis with or without the engine is almost identical. Because the amount of stuff you learn about yourself, about how you calculate, about what you calculate, is immense. Even if you don't know what was right and what was wrong. It certainly helps if you figure out the vast majority of your lines, whether they are right or wrong. But with a good coach / with enough dedication, you can figure out the vast majority of your lines anyway, whether they are right or not. First instinct is e5. e5 is met by g6, yeah? f5 is met by e5. And whoever said knight d5 is winner chicken dinner. I hate to tell you this ILB strat, but this is far more common in regular Sicilians than in Mora. Because in the Mora it's solely based on the e5 pin, whereas in open Sicilians it's based on 10 other motifs as well. Now 95 is insta win. That's a no-brainer. Take, and this is hit, this is hit. And the structure is falling apart. My opponent took with the bishop. But this made things even worse. The real problem is that after ED, And this is already very different from the mora. You have a hanging piece here, another one here, and a mate here. That is just way too heavy. That is just way too heavy. And so he took with the bishop, took back, and he played g6. But this is again, like essentially the game is over after 95, I reckon. Because, yeah, take, and he had to give up the pawn to stop the mate. And in fact, after take, he resigned, I think, here. No, one more move. What's the best finish here, guys, for white? What do we do? Average player here turning out to be not so average. F5. Bishop g6 is no bueno because takes and then king f8, yeah? F5. And yeah. It's all over. He played this. And what now, ladies? What now? Take the book. Which book? Which book do you want me to take? I tell you which one. Take the book. That is an ultimate autocorrect. I know. I'm just being a douche. So what's the win, ladies? Take, check. King back, mate. Take, check, king e8. What's the win? Bishop takes c5 is meant by check. But I think that's what I did, by the way. Is it? Oh no, I pulled back to d5. Shame on me. Okay, can we calculate this to a forced win? Anyone? Pawn checkmate. I don't see what. I mean, yeah, in this line, if the king goes back, it's mate. But king e8 is the problem. So take, check, king e8. GH, king d7, rook f7 is Tangro's line. And I approve. And I approve. No, I think Tangro covered it, guys. I'm ashamed to admit that the game ended like this. And my opponent resigned here. Because of the subsequent check. But frankly, I am really ashamed that I didn't take, king e8, take h7, king d7, rook f7. That is a bloody marvelous line. Okay, let's have a look. Take, check here. Take, only move. I mean, even queen wins here, by the way. But that's way too crude. Rook f7 is just beautiful. And if knight e6, then bishop f5. And it's just a parade of pins. Wow. Okay, let's check what the engine would do here. Just for funsies. Yeah. Oh, exactly that line, guys. Exactly the line we looked at. Oh, no. Switch to queen d5. Oh, no. Queen d5, best move. Still shame on me. Oh no, it switches back. But now shame on me for playing this. No matter what, shame on me for playing Queen D5. Casual Dad, thank you for the sub. I muted it because we are doing a lecture. Yeah, no, there's no excuse for one not to play this because it gives you a great satisfaction to finish the game in style. And also proving your calculating prowess. This is beautiful and everything is pinned. That was one heck of a finish. Unfortunately, I went with the crude Queen D5 and yeah, G5 F6 was the end of it. No, I disapprove of that. I disapprove of that. You going for a mate in 5 when you have a mate in 2, in my book, is poor chess etiquette because the goal is to put them away as soon as you can. Right? So that's a no-go as far as I'm concerned. But here, they are of equal value and this is a forcing line and this isn't. Yeah, I think at the time the guy was a bit overrated, to be fair. Yeah, it was a over-the-board FIDE-rated game. Yeah, I tell you guys the only reason, which is very lame, and you may or may not accept it, why I pulled out from this, because I think I may have looked at this. The only reason why I went with Queen D5 here is because this game was played in the Hungarian Team Championship, and if it was an individual game, I would have been willing to risk it for the biscuit with Queen F7, which, the way how I see it with my mind today, is the lamest thing to say because there is no risk in this. But I just wanted to ensure a victory for the team, and that's why I played Queen D5. But with my today's brain, I would call that a lame excuse. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna call it for the YouTube because it's gonna be too big. So that's gonna be, guys, the first chapter of this analyzing opening / leading into middle game scenarios. So yeah, I hope you guys appreciated this. There will be many more to come. Don't forget to sub, to like, and send me love, and I will see you next.